Now, where was I? Oh yes. The day war broke out, my missus said to me, she looked at me and she said, "What good are you?" I said, "Who?" She said, "You." I said, "Me?" She said, "Yes." I said, "How do you mean, what good am I?" She said, "Well, you're too old for the army." She said, you couldn't get in the navy. They wouldn't have you in the air force, so what good are you? I said, "I'll do something." She said, "What?" I said, "How do I know? I'll have to think." She said, "Well, I don't see how that's going to help you. You've never done it before. So what good?" I said, "Don't keep saying what good am I?" I said, "There'll be munitions." She said, "How can you go on munitions?" I said, "I never mentioned anything about going on munitions. I simply said there'd be some." "Well," she said, "all the young fellas will be getting called up soon and you'll have to be going back to work." Oh, she's got a cruel tongue. Anyway, I haven't got to go back to work. I'm a lamplighter and there's a blackout. Then she said, "Harry will be getting called up soon, and when he's gone, there'll only be his army allowance, so what are you going to do then?" I said, "Well, I'll have to try and manage on it." She said, "You'll have to try and what about me?" I said, "Well, there'll be my insurance." She said, "I can't get that until you're dead." I said, "Well, you'll have to wait." She said, "What if I die first?" I said, "Well, you won't need it." Oh, you won't listen to you at all, you know. She's got no brains. Anyway, I got fed up, so I went down to the local, and there was this fella there, and he was well away. I mean, he was so Brahms and Beethoven or something like that. I mean, he was as listed as a flute. And there was another fella there, and he was 3 sheets to the wind as well. And one of them was filling in a form, and he said to the other fella, he said, "Hey, Andy," he said, "what's the name of the street outside this pub?" And the other fella said, "The name of what?" He said, "The name of the street outside this pub." And the other fella said, "I don't know. I've never been outside the pub." So I asked them what the form was they were filling in, and one of them said it was something to do with the Home Guard, and he read it out to me, and it said, "Wanted, real men, men who are neither afraid of bombs, tanks, incendiary devices, high explosives, or anything else in any shape or form. Men who will lay down their lives for their country." I said, "Oh, so you're joining?" He said, "Joining? Joining what?" I said, "The Home Guard." He said, "Not me." I said, "Well, what are you signing for?" He said, "I'm not signing." He said, "I'm just dropping them a line to let them know that I'm not going for a start." But the first day I got my uniform, though, I was so proud of it. I took it home and I put it on, and the missus looked at me and she said, "What are you supposed to be?" I said, "Supposed to be?" I said, "I'm one of the Home Guards." She said, "One of the Home? What are the others like?" "What are you supposed to do?" I said, "I'm supposed to stop Hitler landing with his army." She said, "What, you?" I said, "No." I said, "There's Charlie Evans, there's Dickie Brightside." I said, "There's 7 or 8 of us all together." I said, "We're all on guard in a little wooden hut behind the dog and pullet." She said, "What's the good of being in a little wooden hut behind the dog and pullet? I suppose that was your idea." I said, "Aye, and that Billy Rolfe tries to claim it as his." "Anyway," she said, "what's that little white stripy thing on your arm?" And I said, "Well, I was keeping that as a little surprise." I said, "That means I'm a Lance Corporal." I said, "As a matter of fact," I said, "Charlie Evans, Billy Brightside and myself got 1 each." She said, "How did you come by them?" I said, "Well, Tom Dawson, the sergeant, he got all browned off, fed up to the teeth, chucked it and gave us 1 each. I said, "We've all joined for the duration." That's of course unless it finishes before then. Otherwise I could be in the little wooden hut behind the dog and pullets long after it's all over. Well, that's what happened to me during the last war, and it gets so lonely in there, and I don't want to miss this one. Anyway, she said, what are you supposed to be guarding? I said, regarding the British Isles. I said, regarding all the women and children, millions of them, and you. She said, so I see, so you're on our side. I said, of course I am. She said, well, I think we'd stand a better chance if you were on the other side. And then she turned around and she said, do you know this Hitler? I mean, have you ever met him? I said, do I know him? Of course I don't know him. Have I ever met him indeed? She said, well, how will you know which is him if they ever do land? I said, well, I've got a tongue in my head, haven't I? Oh, yeah, she gets right up my nose sometimes. I mean, blimey, look at the term. I should have been on guard hours ago. They'd be looking for me everywhere. I've left a hole in the coast exposed. Look, you'll have to excuse me. If I'm not back before closing time, ask you to leave me supper in the oven, will you? Ta-da! Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler? If you think old England's done.